What's good, y'all? So a few videos back, an individual left a comment with a video request, and they wanted me to talk about developing and cultivating a more deeper masculine voice, if you will. You know, I kind of giggled at this because I had every intention of making this video mad extra. Yeah, if you want a deeper voice, what you gotta do is follow the 8-step program. Step 1, ABC. Step 2, EFG. Step 3, XYZ. Yeah, I really wanted to do that just to kind of like make fun of some of these, like, you know, these alpha male red pill channels out here. But yeah, no, I know I wouldn't be able to maintain that character, maintain that voice the entire time and be taken seriously. So we're just gonna go back to, you know, our bread and butter, right? But I was actually pleasantly surprised with this topic because you don't really think to talk about things that you've been blessed with your entire life, something that you're walking around every single day hearing. You don't think to talk about it. You know, I've been told I have a nice voice since I've been 16 years old, working at Target, scanning groceries. You know, follow that up a decade and some change later, I'm now using my voice to wake people up, educate people, help people, all the above and all the et ceteras. So, if you're someone that's trying to work on having a deeper voice, a more masculine voice, here's some tips that I can leave with you, some of which helped me in my upbringing, some of which I'm just thinking out loud. All right? So, some of these are going to be very obvious. Some of them are going to be coming from left field. And actually, we'll start off with one of the more obscure ones real quick. In your mind, I want y'all to hear this type of voice. I'm going to give you two voices, and I want you to hear either one. All right? Voice number one is the voice of a battle-hardened veteran. You know, a warrior in the field, like a knight, you know, a king, you know, a leader. What does that voice sound like in your head? Now, it might sound different to everybody, but what does that voice sound like to you? You might think of a celebrity. You might think of a singer. You might think of a spoken word individual. You might think of a rapper. You might think of your own parent, your uncle, whoever. Whose voice is that in your mind? Okay? Now, let's go to the very opposite end of the spectrum. You know, and apologies if this is your name, but this is just the name that just reminds me of this annoying character of this guy, this individual I met. But if your name, imagine this dude named Digby, you know, overweight, balding at 23 years old, no social skills, spends all day on Reddit. You're a little Timmy. You're 15 to 21 years old, and all you do is play League of Legends, CSGO, calling people gamer words, you know, and your only source of confidence is you being good at a video game, right? Not going outside, not living life, not doing anything. In what side of that spectrum does your voice reside? Ask yourself that question, and that shows how much work you have to put in, right? You know, before we start moving on to more, like, you know, general advice, what's the biggest difference between Digby and a battle-hardened freaking Hercules out here? The biggest difference between those two individuals, and some of y'all may have said testosterone, that's very correct, okay? But also, it's the fact that they've been through shit. For me, let me use myself as an example, right? I did a dry fast, right? I did a dry fast where I went without no food and no contact. I didn't bathe, I didn't brush my teeth, I didn't shower, I didn't do nothing. So no food, no water for a full 7 days. I do not recommend that for anybody, but nevertheless, that's what I did. Now, with me accomplishing something that like scientists have led us to believe is impossible, you die after 4 or 5 days without water, well, I'm still standing, so what now? You see how and that just instinctively right there, what now? I did that. You said that was impossible, and now I did that. You see what I'm saying? Now, what happens when your life is full of success, full of life, full of experiences? That builds your confidence. There is no super confident individual that speaks like this and lets people get their word in before them and is too afraid to ask a question or is too afraid to challenge their boss that is like treating them unjustly. No, that don't make sense. That's an oxymoron. How are you going to be confident and then let people walk all over you? That don't make no sense. You got to build your confidence in yourself. You know, that's why, like, you know, Kevin Hart coined it. Say it with your chest. Say it with your chest. Some of y'all, and another thing else y'all got to learn is breathe. You know, when some of y'all are sitting, you breathe, all your breathing is right here. And then you breathe with the stomach. I'm not trying to flex, but like you breathe. What expands more? Your chest or your stomach, right? While we're doing that breath work, consider your breath, consider your lungs like a balloon. Go inflate a balloon right now, or just imagine, y'all know what a balloon sounds like, right? So inflate a balloon and then let out a little bit of air out. What does it sound like? What's the pitch of that sound? Right? A very high pitched sound. What happens if you just let the little neck thing go? So how would you want things to flow into your life? Let me ask you like this. How would you want wealth to flow into your life? Or so, how do you want your voice to be perceived by other people? Or right? The easiest way to get to that point, I know I'm talking to predominantly men with this video, so I have to say pause with this one, but you have to relax your throat. Pause. But you have to relax your throat, right? Once again, some of y'all are so tense. Oh yeah, y'all really sound like this. And sometimes you guys think you're calm, but you're just talking like this all the time. If you started to just relax a little bit, your voice would start to lower and lower. And then when you start to accomplish more things in your life, and when you start to build that confidence in yourself, then you start to be like, yo, I'm here. I made it. I really did that. But y'all saw that progression, right? You went from this to this by simply relaxing and building confidence in yourself. All right. But then another thing I could think of, train, practice. You want bigger muscles? What do? You go to the gym. You want to learn a language? Every single day, you better be learning that language. You know, I've been considerably slack. I'm very good at learning about 6 words in every freaking language out here. You know what I'm saying? I was going to learn Hebrew, but I lost my book. That was my cue from life saying that's not what you need to be doing. So say less. But anyway, back on topic. But nevertheless, you have to practice. You know, how do opera singers, how do R&B singers? Sure, there's natural talent, sure. But if you ain't got it like that, you have to work. You have to train your vocal cords. So what are you going to do? Well, if you want to get your voice, if you want to lift 2 plates, if you want to lift 225, and all you can do is curl 30s, you can't even push up 30s. All right, well, you got to drop back down to 15. When 15 gets confident, do 20, do 30. Okay, when you're doing 30, push to 40. Okay, now let's try just the bar. All right, and then you build and build and build and build and build and build and build, right? So the same way the opera singers have to train their voice, so too do you. So as well you have to, y'all know what I mean. Anyway, right? So let me bring my spiritual game into this real quick. There's Om, O-M, Om. You know, like when people do that meditation. What does your Om sound like? Om, 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 full of life, Om, blocking everything. So you don't have to do Om, you don't have to do meditations, you don't have to do all that. But just start, number 1, throughout your day, break the habit, that same habit that I have. Stop lightening your voice. Don't raise your voice to a higher pitch to look cute, to play the child role, to be innocent. No, you a man, right? I mean, you watching this video, clearly you want your voice to be deeper. So start acting like it. Yeah, so let's just say this is the deepest your voice can get right here. This is the deepest that your voice can get. Okay, well, start relaxing more, start building that confidence. You know, then like a week or 2 later, you're gonna notice that your voice is kind of like right here. You know, your voice is like this, blah, 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 blah. But then the other thing is, it goes along with confidence, but speak with confidence. You know, when you speak with confidence and you know everything that you're saying is like people gonna be eating everything that you're saying, that's gonna build you up. Therefore, it's gonna make your voice project more. Because when you have that confidence in yourself, you express it. When you say what you're saying, you see people leaning in and they really want to hear what you're saying. That is, oh shit, y'all. Oh, y'all want to learn some shit. All right, hold up, I got you. All right, bow, bow, bow. The next thing that you have to learn is something that the individual pointed out was the cadence, right? Now, don't get me wrong. I go on marathons. But like, you know, with somebody that we've all seen, Andrew Tate, I actually took something from him, and that's his articulation. You know, do you have a Bugatti? Like, you know, whatever, you know what I'm saying? But like, when he starts talking, he starts to really articulate the points and articulate his syllables in a way that you can break it down and understand what it is that he is trying to get across. You see what I'm saying? But the way that he articulates things is kind of like, he's not pausing because he goes on a rant too, but it's hard to explain. It's almost like this little micro pause that allows the individual's brain that is listening to him speak, they're able to comprehend, I guess. You're able to keep up with what he's saying just because of his pacing. Now, go compare Andrew Tate to someone like Ben Shapiro. You know, Ben Shapiro's like a freaking, like, he's an android. But when he really gets talking, and he really gets talking about this thing, he starts speaking. Yeah, but I like the way he speaks, though. I like both of them. You see what I'm saying? Take the traits from men that you admire. There's nothing wrong with admiring another individual that's walking the path that you want to walk. There's nothing wrong with emulating yourself after people. You know, I emulated myself after my father, my uncles. You know, there was a little bit of Denzel Washington, Will Smith. I learned a lot from stand-up comedy. Patrice O'Neal with timing. You know what I'm saying? He be saying the most raunchy, disrespectful stuff, but it's so freaking funny because he set it up perfectly. You know, this is why they say, think twice, speak once, measure twice, cut once. You know, have everything prepared in your mind already, so you're not, what do I say? I don't know. Does all that worry sound like confidence? Does it? You have to think about what you're going to say. Be prepared for every situation. If you don't feel like you're prepared, start preparing now. You see what I'm saying? Start preparing now. So then if you read a book on this, at least you're knowledgeable of something. At least you have introductory knowledge. Or if someone's talking about something completely different from you, it's completely different than anything you've ever read before, use what you know to be competent in the conversation. You know, okay, hey, or, you know, also, like, it's very important to know everything, but be very confident about not knowing anything. Yo, I don't know nothing about, hey, yo, explain that to me. Damn, you really know a lot about what you're talking about. Yo, that's great. And the more comfortable that person is with you, then the conversation starts to flow. When that person is more comfortable with you, they start talking, you become more comfortable with them. When you are more comfortable, that leads us back to our original point, to relax. You know? So, you know, either you got genetics and you're gifted with it, and you probably not even watching this video, or there's some training you gotta do. There's some practicing. A lot of it, weirdly enough, does not have anything to do with your voice. Your voice is almost like a byproduct of the life that you're living. You know, this is another reason why I preach semen retention. It might sound weird for those of you that don't watch that type of stuff, that don't watch that side of my channel. But semen retention helps preserve the levels of testosterone in your body. When you have a body full of testosterone and higher levels that some of y'all have experienced in years, you know what I'm saying? Your voice by default is going to get lower simply because of testosterone. Some of y'all jacking off over and over and over don't realize what you're doing to your bodies, but I'm gonna just cut it off here because this isn't that type of video. You know, I have a whole playlist for that if you're interested in that type of conversation. But nevertheless, you know, one of the things also is some of you may never actually get a super deep voice. You know, you might not have that 2 o'clock in the morning voice, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I will never make a video with my voice sounding this deep unless you're a girl 2 o'clock in the morning, you know what I'm saying? But nevertheless, some of you may never have that type of voice, you know, but like the other thing is just being comfortable with yourself as a man. I know that's very simple. I know it sounds like a little bit of a cop-out, but like, you just have to be confident in yourself. If your voice is here, then make it work. Hey, yeah, I got a real nasally voice, you know what I'm saying? I sound like I got a cold every day, but that's my voice, that's my MO, that's my motor, that's what I do, you heard me? You gotta make it goofy. You already got a nasally voice, then like add a little bit of swagger to it. You know, mix and match. You know what I'm saying? Like, for example, like XXXTentacion, like the way that he spoke in general. I didn't take the way that he sounded, but I liked when he was starting to get into his essence of what he was really speaking, when there were like videos of like when he was like really preaching his gospel, because I do believe he was like the angel of death, like incarnated on earth. But nevertheless, when he was preaching his gospel, I was just like, yo, I feel that. That's why, like, when I really get into my mode, that's where I got it from. I want people to feel my word. But then also too, when I get on my Hotep stuff, you know, I actually emulate Dr. Phil Valentine. You know, he's the one that allowed me that showed me that it's possible to still be spiritual, but also cuss your ass off. You know, he be dropping stuff that's still above my pay grade. As much as I've still been watching his video, I watched the very first video I watched of Dr. Phil Valentine, and I watched it again. I'm learning and learning as if it was my first time watching it again. You know, a very influential individual. But nevertheless, he'll cuss you out by also teaching you about metaphysics. Hey, Dick Gregory. You know, when I get super passionate about stuff to the point where I'm just like, you know, I start dropping my F-bombs and this and that, I got that from him. because I always wondered why he was so mad, why he got so angry when people asked simple questions, you know, but he just had zero time for foolishness. He, in his world, it was so obvious to him that he would start to spaz out. You know, it's like, what do you mean that the sun is hot? Really? And he was using different words, but there's words I'm eliminating from my vocabulary I can't repeat. But you know, it's like, you know, he used a different word. But yo, dickhead, like, what do you mean that you didn't know that was the sun? You didn't know that big bright thing in the sky is what's giving us all life on this planet? Fucking idiots, bro. Like, he had that type of energy. So when I get to that point, I'm dipping into the Dick Gregory bag. You know what I'm saying? When I'm teaching manifestation, you know, I listen to Neville Goddard, right? And I love the way that he's actually my motivation for making my hour-long, 2-hour-long videos. Because one of my goals in one of my videos, I expressed in one of my videos way back when, was I wanted to be able to easily like spit out like a 2-hour speech. So I do 2-hour, 3-hour videos so I can like dial it back one day and have like a 1-hour like magnum opus type of video, magnum opus speech. You see what I'm saying? But nevertheless, like, I hope this helped y'all. You know, I gave y'all a few of my motivations. Y'all go out there and find your own. I have many more out there, you know, but like I said, always make it your own as well. Yes, copy somebody, but you may not have their voice. Your voice might even get deeper than theirs. All right, well, you can't, certain things don't roll with different voice types as well. All right, it's very hard to be super giddy and playful, with a deep ass voice. Yeah. You look like a dope. You know what I'm saying? But if you have a higher pitched voice, yeah, what's going on, guys? Yeah, what's going on? We do this, man. See, it makes sense, right? So play to your strengths. If you have a high voice, find your swag with a higher pitched voice. If you have a lower voice, find your swag with a lower voice. It's all you. It's your world. To the next one. Peace.